What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reading two books that have practically the same title. So we have The Three Mrs. Wrights and The Three Mrs. Greys. It's so funny actually, because when I posted my video about my Reading to Zero challenge, the BookTube consumerism one of you had pointed out, you were like, oh, you have like two books that have literally the same, like The Three Mrs. something. And I was like, wow, I actually do. I didn't even realize that. So I'm going to read both of these books. I'm going to see which one is better. Is The Three Mrs. Greys better? Or is The Three Mrs. Wrights better? Or maybe The Three Mrs. Nothings are all bad. You never know. Okay, so in The Three Mrs. Greys, we actually have one husband, and he is actually married to, I think, 3 different women, but they don't actually know until he becomes dead. So he gets shot, he's in a coma, and that's when all of his wives realize that they're other wives. Like, they all thought that they were the only one. It looks like Noelle is a model, and she always wanted her husband to have a baby with her, and he didn't. And then Diamond, I guess, was saved from the streets. She was a pimp's punching bag. And then there's also Vanessa, who they have 3 kids together, I guess. So that's gonna be really crazy. It kind of reminds me, like, it has a vibe of The Wives by Taryn Fisher, and I'm really hoping that it's like exciting and thrilling. I believe this is a thriller. Let me check, I guess, because I don't want to go into these thinking that they're thrillers if they're more like women's fiction. Okay, so it is actually labeled as thriller, mystery, and women's fiction and suspense. It's also a series, I didn't realize. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, and then the other book is The Three Mrs. Wrights, and actually I just read the synopsis, and I think that these books are almost the same thing. So this talks about 3 wives, Lark, Jessica, and Holly, and it says they're 3 strangers, but with so much in common it hurts. Their one and only is one and the same. The charming Mr. Wright's serial lies are about to catch up with him. So these are essentially the same book with the same title. So now I'm even more intrigued to do this video because this is gonna be such a good comparison. For The Three Mrs. Wrights, this is also under fiction, mystery, thriller, suspense. There's some romance and women's fiction at the bottom as well. So I am just kind of scared because I haven't heard very much things about these, and I hope that they're thrilling. I don't know which one. I wonder which one I should start with. Maybe I'll post a poll on Instagram. Maybe I'll just pick this one. I don't know. I don't know which one. Okay, so I decided to start with The Three Mrs. Greys, and I read the first chapter, which was only about 12 pages, and it's about the first wife, or like one of the wives. I don't know if they go in an order, but Vanessa is one of the wives. And it actually turns out that this whole first chapter is between her and her like secret lover. So she's been cheating on her husband with this guy named Bilal. And he's a lot younger, like he's like in his 20s, lives like in a little bachelor pad or whatever, and she's married and has kids. And he is telling her like, oh, hey, like you should leave your husband now. And she's like, no, this was only like a couple weeks of a fling. She's like, there's no way. And he's like, well, I'm gonna tell your husband then. And so she has to go over to his house to be like, no, you're not going to tell my husband. And he like threatens her, she threatens him. And when she leaves, she's like, okay, like that's the last time I'm speaking with him. And she gets a phone call that her husband has been shot. And now chapter 2 is going on to the next wife, Noelle. So far, I'm actually really enjoying it. I have the audiobook on Libby, and that first chapter was really good. Guys, this book is juicy. Okay, I read chapter 2 because that is the other wife, Noelle. She actually didn't get a call about her husband being in the hospital. A nurse knew that was her husband and like called her and was like, hey, did you know your husband's in the hospital? And it's so crazy because she was in the waiting room with the other wife, and the doctor came out and was like, Mrs. Gray? And they both were like, yeah? They're like, no, there must be another Mr. Gray here. And she's like, well, my husband is Cyrus William Gray. And the other wife is like, that is my husband's name, yes. Could you just imagine that? Like, you going to the hospital and someone is also claiming to be like you, well, not you, but like your husband's wife? Like, what? Okay, I'm going to read chapter 3, which is about Diamond, which is the other wife. And then after that, I won't give like any more spoilers or anything, but I wanted to give you guys like a good kind of depiction of like each wife and like how the story is starting out. But this is not a spoiler vlog. So this is only gonna be the first 3 chapters, like kind of telling you about each wife. Okay, just finished chapter 3. I am really liking this book so far. So we read about Diamond, and she is the girl that has like an ex-pimp, and apparently I guess he was in jail because they said, oh, isn't that convenient that like Mr. Gray just died or got shot? I guess he technically didn't die, he's in a coma. But they were like, that's convenient when your ex-pimp just got out of jail 3 days ago. And apparently she didn't know that, but she was actually with, I think the guy's name is like Cyrus. Yeah. She was actually with Cyrus when he got shot. So she like kind of got shot too. She got like, I don't know, like a burn from it or something. So she's also in the hospital, but she hasn't met those other ladies yet. This is just, oh my gosh, this is just juicy drama right here in this book. But I'm gonna now sit and like read a good chunk of it, and then I'll give you guys an update probably when I like get to the halfway point, I would say. Right now I'm 27 pages in, so when I get to like 150 some pages is probably when I'll give you guys another update. Okay, hello, it's the next day and I am 167 pages into the 3 Mrs. Grays. So I am a little bit over halfway, and I'm just gonna update you guys because then I wanna finish it. So far, it was very, very thrilling in the beginning. It's slowing up a little bit just because I'm not really finding out anything new. I still have no clue kind of like why the husband Cyrus got shot. I mean, I'm sure that we're gonna find that out soon, but I feel like the very beginning part was like so thrilling, finding out about all the wives, like how they're different, how they know him, but I kind of want a little bit more deeper dive into how he pulled it off, if that makes sense. Like I wanna know what he was telling all of his wives when he was going to all these different places. So I'm hoping that it's going to like give me more information for the rest of the book, because I still need it to be more thrilling. It's been a lot more like almost romance drama, if that makes sense, rather than actual thriller thrills. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad. Oh, I didn't realize that with this book being a series that it doesn't have an ending. It literally says, it's like, can't wait to see what happens. Keep reading for a sneak peek at the next action-packed entry in the series, coming soon. Oh my gosh. I literally just wasted 304 pages of my life reading this. I can't believe that like I just don't even really know what's going on. I guess I have to rate this book, even though I am not gonna read the rest of the series. To me, it just wasn't interesting enough for me to keep going, but I'm also not a series person. Like I never read series because I just wanna like, I'm like a one and done type of person. I just wanna read the book and like just know everything. So I'm going to rate this 3 stars. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely was way more romance in my opinion than it was thriller. So if you like reading romance, I would suggest like picking this up, and then it has like obviously some thriller aspects, but it was mostly just drama about the 3 relationships. It also had a lot of swearing, like GD was probably like at least 50 times in this book. I was actually very surprised by that because most of the time when I read thrillers, like they don't really have that much bad language in it. But all in all, like it was a solid dramatic read, just not super twisty. And if you're not going to continue along with the series, then it's going to be very open-ended in the ending and you're not gonna know anything. I need to take Graham outside because it's time for him to go out. And then I'm actually going to be going on a reading sprint with my book club. So we just like hop on Zoom and we're gonna read, I think for about 2 hours. So I'm gonna start my next book. So the 3 Mrs. Wrights, and it's pretty much the same concept. So we'll see how this one is compared to the last one. It would be really funny if they were both like exactly 3 stars. I don't know. I have a feeling that it probably will be, but I also don't have the audiobook for this one, so it might take me longer, might be more of a trudge to get through. So I am currently in the reading sprint for my book club, and I started the 3 Mrs. Wrights. I am 16 pages in. I just read chapter 1, and chapter 1 is about Lark, and she met this guy Trip, which I'm assuming that Trip is like the Mr. Right guy in this book, because I believe he uses all different names like when he's with these wives. Compared to the last book, he just used the same name. She meets Trip like in a bar, and they start talking, and she goes back to his place. She's actually a board game developer, and she's like in this town because telling people about her board games so that way she can get like sponsored and stuff. And he's like an investor, so he is like, oh, I want to invest like in your board game. I can like front you like $10,000 to $20,000. And I think she's gonna go along with it, which is really crazy. So yeah, and now I'm on chapter 2, and so it's going to be about Jessica, and I'm assuming she's meeting this same guy, but his name I think is gonna be Jonathan for hers. So I'll update you guys after I finish her chapter. So I just finished chapter 2. I'm on page 29, and that one is about Jessica, and the guy is John. I guess it's Jonathan, but they always called him John in that chapter. So Jessica is actually just moving in with John, and he was flying back from a trip, which I'm assuming was the trip that was in the first chapter with the other girl. But it's so weird because he is talking about like his ex-wife Holly and then his 3 kids, but like he's acting as if Holly is like a crazy person and that like she's not gonna let the kids like sleep over and stuff. And so it's weird because like Jessica I guess knows that he's been previously married, but she's moving in with him, and she knows that he has kids, but I don't know if the actual 3rd wife, I guess she does have 3 kids because it says on the back. So I guess Holly is the first wife with the 3 kids, but then I guess he's still staying married to her and still like visiting and stuff. But then he has these 2 side chicks on the side, I guess. I think that's how it's gonna work, and that's how it kind of worked in the last book too, where like the main, like the first married wife was the one with kids, and then the other 2 wives like didn't have kids. But it's weird that Jessica knows that he has kids, because in the last book the wives didn't know that their husband had kids, if that makes sense. Okay, going on to chapter 3. This one is Holly, so that's gonna be the last wife. So far I'm actually liking it. Like I actually liked Jessica's chapter better than Lark's chapter. It was a little bit more interesting to me. I think it was a little bit shorter too, but now we're gonna read about Holly. Okay, so I just finished the 3rd chapter. I'm 40 pages in now, and chapter 4 is going to go back to Lark. I don't know if they always go in order like this. It kind of would be nice if they did, because it is following like the same timeline, and it would be easy for me to keep, yeah, I think they do go in the same order. It'd be easy for me to keep the wives, like to know like what chapter I'm on and who the wife is, because I felt like in the last book I kept having to like remember like who the wife was and like what her backstory was. But if they stay in order like this, I feel like it'd be a little bit easier to know the backstory. Holly, who I guess is John's first wife, she actually like rides horses, so her chapter was actually pretty boring to me because it was all about like her being like at a stable and riding horses, and then she had like spooked the horse and got kicked by the horse, but there wasn't really much showing her and Jonathan's relationship in that chapter. Whereas the other 2 wives, I felt like you got more of a glimpse of like how they met or their current like relationship. So that chapter actually was not that great. But now we're back to Lark, and so I'm probably going to read for a little bit before I update you guys again, since I'm 40 pages in and I don't really know much what's happening. So I'll try and do another update once I know more, and then I can do just like 1 or 2 by the time I finish the book. But it'll probably be tomorrow because I think my husband's about to be home. He worked a really long day today, and I'm gonna heat him up some dinner. Hello, good morning. Okay, so today is another day, and I'm going to be reading here in a little bit. It's actually a nice sunny hot day. It's been raining for like the last week, and I just got this in the mail. Actually, I got it like last week. I think I told you guys about this, how I was ordering it. It's like a inflatable, but you can like sit like on the grass, like you can just put this on the grass, and then it has like a couple inches of water that you would put in it, but it comes with a headrest, and I think it's called like a suntan tub. Yeah, inflatable suntan tub. So anyway, I got it because I wanted to be able to like read outside in the sun without sweating to death. I mean, I probably will still sweat some, but I mean like, you know, dying in the heat. And this came like a week ago, but I couldn't use it because it's been raining for like a whole week straight, which is good because I mean, we were pretty much like, we had a drought for like all of summer. But today is like the first day I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna blow it up. And it's actually like on clearance and on sale right now. So if I love it, I got it off of Amazon, and originally it was like $80 and it's only $50 now because it's the end of summer. So I'm gonna blow it up. I actually got this like little air pump thing, and it inflates and deflates. So that way, like I can put this away when it starts getting cold, and it should be able to just kind of fit back into the box, and then I can use it every year.
This time I'm letting you go. This time I know it for sure. I just thought I should let you know. Yeah, now, no, it's no more, no. I got so high on a low. That's when I love you the most. Now I thought I should let you know. Yeah, now, no, it's no more, no. I really thought we had it covered. Was gonna patch up all the scars, but we smashed up all the parts. Oh, na, na, na. Always knew that you were stubborn, but didn't know it'd be so hard to figure out who you really are. I guess our dreams fell asleep. There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, 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 down.
It's a little chilly, but it will get warmer once the sun is like on me. But this is gonna be a nice reading space. I am on chapter 4, page 40, and I'm gonna read for a bit. Okay, I've been outside, I don't even know how long, but I need to go inside. I am on page 90 now, I think. Yeah, page 90, chapter 9. So I read about every single wife almost twice, except for Holly. I stopped before I got to Holly's chapter again for the second time. And I just really don't like Holly's chapters, and that's kind of crazy because she's actually like the first wife, so I should like her chapters, I guess. But they're just like really boring to me. But the other two girls, Lark and Jessica, I'm actually really liking their chapters because with Lark, she just met John, and so her chapters are about like falling in love with him and him kind of like dating her, and they're going into business together. And then with John and Jessica, he actually had gotten her a job at like the place that he works. I don't exactly know what they do, but it's some type of like lab thing, and he just got like really mad at her for something that she did at the job. I feel like there's like a bug in my hair or something. I don't know, maybe not. You can't find anything. Anyway, so that was very interesting to read about. It's like, it's so crazy how he's able to like juggle all of these women. I just don't see how he can. I mean, he does like fly a lot in order to do like business endeavors, but it's like, how can you fly and spend time with all of these women and also work a job and like be rich? I don't know how you do it, but okay. This tub thing though is super cool. I've been really loving it. I laid on my back for a while, and then I switched to my belly, and like I just had like the book down there, and I was like on top of this pillow. But it's super great actually, so really enjoying it. But I'm gonna go inside and like take a shower and eat some lunch because I've been out here for probably like an hour or so, and I don't want to like get too burnt or anything like that. Okay, hello, it's another day, and I only have 30 pages left of this book, and I just want to find out what's happening. Like, we are at the point that the 3 wives, well, one's still like a fiance, 2 wives and a fiance. The 2 wives found out about each other, and the fiance is like, she doesn't really know anything, but she's like kind of suspicious because she just found out the real name of her fiance, of the husband. But it's coming down to the nitty-gritty that like everything's gonna be out in the open. And I can't wait to see how that happens. Like, only 30 pages left of this book. I just need to find out. Okay, so I finally finished The Three Mrs. Wrights, and I'm just not sure what to rate this book. I'm thinking 3 or 3.5. I'll probably do a 3 on Goodreads, and then on the story graph, I'll do 3.5. I did really enjoy this book, but I had a couple problems with it. Number one, it's just way too long. This is almost 400 pages. And for the like storyline, it doesn't need to be 400 pages. Also, there was a bunch of like cancer research in here. So Jonathan Wright, who is the husband, his company, like, I guess he is an investor, and he wrote like a TED Talk and stuff, but he's actually like very science-based, and they were working on like a cure for cancer. So there was a lot of like science-y talk and jargon, and just a lot of like, I don't know, like description and examples. And I felt like that really took away from the story. Like, I didn't need to know all of that behind the scenes stuff in order to like this story. And I think that it made it kind of fall flat in those areas. Like, I think that the author wanted to do a good job with like showing you all of the wives before they got together with Jonathan, or why they got together with Jonathan. Like, that was a part of the story and what made it make sense. But at the same time, I think that they went too much in detail when writing this. And so it just became like a lot larger than it needs to be, and it could have been like more fast paced. So the other book that I read, The Three Mrs. Grays, I liked a little bit less than this. Number one, the swearing was just way too much. I don't think there was really any swearing in this one at all. And then I also didn't like that it was a series, which I know that's my own fault for not, you know, looking that up. But I felt like there was nothing satisfying at the end. I also think like it was thrilling, but I actually think I liked this book better in the setup where you learn all about the women. They don't know that like they're all interconnected until mostly the end. Whereas in the other book, they all knew right away. Like, that was like the first few pages where they found out right away, and then they were trying to figure out what to do about it instead. Also, the last book didn't really tell you or show you just how the guy juggled all of those girls, whereas I feel like in this one, that's the whole book, is showing you like his relationship with each one of them separately, and it's like just a timeline of how we get to the end when they find out everything. So I definitely appreciated this better. This could have been way better if it just didn't have all of that like sciencey jargon in it, if it had been cut down. And I do think that the ending was rushed. So it was like this whole entire book, and then right at the ending, like the last girl finds out, and then okay, like we're done. So I feel like this could have been like almost a 5-star read if those things weren't the problem, because I loved the actual storyline and the synopsis of this, and reading about like the marriages and stuff. Like, that was all super juicy and super intriguing. All right, that's it for this video. That was me reading 2 of the books on my shelf that practically had the same title and the same synopsis, and I'm surprised at how similar but also how different that they were. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon in another one. Bye everyone.
And I thought it's time I'm letting